Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Enchanted. This is part one of two because tomorrow, well, actually around midnight tonight, I'll be watching Disenchanted, the sequel, exclusive to Disney Plus. It's a Disney Plus original starring the main cast that we know from this one right here. Speaking of which, this is from 2007. It's an hour and 52 minutes long. It is 15 years old. So we're going to see I imagine a bit of a time jump. I imagine the little girl that was Patrick Dempsey's daughter in this. I don't know if it's the same actress. I have not checked. She's going to be probably all grown up because she's like 6 in this thing. And well, just I don't remember her from the trailer, but they've definitely grown up. They've definitely aged a little bit. Of course, this stars Amy Adams, Patrick Dempsey, James Marsden as Prince Edward, and Susan Sarandon as the Evil Queen, and oh geez, what else? Oh, Timothy Spall as Nathaniel, who you might also know from the Harry Potter series as Peter Pettigrew. So yeah, he's in this messing with Chipmunk, not exactly a rat, but he's very vermin adjacent. Vermin adjacent. That's the word I'm gonna use. This starts out as you expect this to be a live action film. You see this what it is, and I have seen this before, so it wasn't a surprise to me. I knew what was going on. But when you first get into this film, you realize that it's a. And also, you know what? The trailers pretty much gave it all away way back when it was in theaters. It starts out as an animated feature. It's got a very Disney vibe with more modern touches to the animation. It feels not anime-ish, but it has a lightness, I guess, a movement to it that is feels a little bit more Japanese inspired. Mixed, obviously, it's meant to mimic classic Disney. This is made by Disney. It's not like a 20th Century Fox thing or anything else. It's a Disney film. It's meant to poke fun a little bit at the tropes that you might find in common Disney films. It's kind of a shame that Giselle is not an official Disney princess in a sense, because she spends so much of her time in live action. We know her mostly as a live action character, not as an animated princess. But who knows? Maybe she'll get added to the pantheon at some point. Never know. But her story has been told a million times over, and that's what the whole first 10 minutes of this film pretty much examines. It's, she's a girl who lives in a cottage and sings to the animals, and they all understand what they're doing, what she's saying, and they're making dresses and cleaning the house. And in this really fun contrast, we get to see what would happen if one of the Disney princesses moved into the real world. It's a concept that's not it's never been thought of. It's not that it's never been thought of before. It's just that nobody's really ever executed it properly, if ever. It's and at least never in a way that was good natured or at any length that gives the character some depth. That it's not just a one-off joke. I'm sure there's parody videos out there somewhere that do all sorts of things like this, but this kind of takes the whole process of looking at the princesses as mostly one-dimensional creatures who have no two-dimensional creatures who have no agency of their own. They just want to fall in love with a man and live happily ever after, and the animals of the forest are going to help them, and they sing their way through all their problems, and there's never a moment when she ever feels angry or it's just so it's kind of in this film we get to see her after she spends a little bit of time in the real world. We get to see her experience that for the first time, and it's kind of a breakthrough for her character. For Disney princesses everywhere, yeah, we've had angry princesses in the past, obviously, but again, it never goes beyond that whole the animated trope that we see in all the princess films for the most part. It's a song, and true love wins out in the end. That's the way it is. But in the real world, which she gets thrown into by the evil queen, and she's utterly confused, wandering the streets of New York City. She pops up in the middle of Times Square, the center of the world, of course. She pops up in the middle of this Times Square in her wedding gown, which is just big and floofy and ridiculous in contrast to the grime and flashing lights and chaos of the streets in Times Square. Yeah, it's. Did I say Central Park earlier? My brain is not working. Um, so yeah, we get to see some nice bits of contrast for the sake of comedy, but also for the sake of character, and we get to see her as she runs across a little girl and her dad. Well, they run across her as she's trying to find safety in one of the worst parts of town. She's up on a billboard knocking at what looks like artwork for a casino that it looks like a magical castle. It stands out horrendously, and he's the one who catches her when she falls. So he's cynical. He's about to be engaged. He's about to ask his girlfriend, played by Idina Menzel. I'm gonna John Travolta this here. Idina Menzel. Yes, Elsa from Frozen. So, geez, this has a bit of pedigree. The fact that she does not sing in this is a crime. I'm pretty sure the biggest crime that Disney could do. And of course, Frozen's not going to come out for another 7 years, something like that, 6, 7 years. But yeah, she's known for her work in Wicked and everything else. But yes, it's not like they didn't know she could sing. Maybe her number was cut. I have no idea. If she's in the sequel, which again I haven't checked beyond seeing the trailer like once. Hopefully she sings. It's just, come on, you got Elsa, the queen. I mean, okay, this is the girl who. I'm not gonna ruin stuff here if you haven't seen this movie already. I might ruin a few things here, but she's the kind of woman who feels she needs a little bit more romance, a little bit more fantasy in her relationship with Patrick Dempsey's character. Why can't I say his name? Robert Phillip. That's pretty basic. Pretty basic name. He's raising a daughter. He's a widower, and he's raising a daughter by himself, and he's got everything planned out. It's very. It's okay, and it's not like it's a bad relationship. It's not that they don't care for each other. It's just that he's seeing this very matter of factly. He doesn't want to get his heart broken because he's already lost the love of his life, and she wants something more that he apparently can't give her, but Giselle brings out in him. He is very cynical when it comes to relationships. He doesn't believe in true love, and he doesn't believe that necessarily all relationships will last. And Giselle, of course, has no comprehension of such aspects. He's a divorce lawyer, so the fact that there's people who get together who break up is anathema. It just does not make any sense. So it's kind of it's a culture clash, and it's a romantic opposites. It's meet cute, whatever. I'm using all the little tag terms, but they kind of learn from each other. And of course, the weird thing is that like I was saying earlier, they show us what would happen if this same princess would show up in the real world. Apparently, her powers. She's just a normal girl in a cabin in the woods. But apparently she has abilities to talk to animals, and they all gather at his apartment when she falls asleep on their couch, and they let her stay the night after they help her. And chaos reigns when then suddenly it's not just the pretty birds and the sweet mice. It's rats. It's flies, it's cockroaches, it's pigeons, it's the vermin of the sky. It's all these things come flying into the apartment, and she gets them to help her clean as a Disney princess would. And what normally looks great in animation is just sweet in animation. Snow White or Cinderella and everybody else can do these kind of things. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen here. It looks terrifying when cockroaches are cleaning your tub. Yeah, mice are just handing plates around. No. this this film uses animals to violate a number of health codes throughout the film. So yeah, throughout the story, it's a it's a and there is lies the comedy. There's a lots of big funny moments in this that again are not inappropriate. It would be super easy to make this story not for kids, but thankfully it is. It is very family friendly. It is super sweet. And her powers not just include having animals do her bidding, but also causing strangers in the streets to sing and dance along with her in a big musical number that takes place in Central Park. So yeah, it's a Disney movie, Disney princess movie brought to life, and that's kind of its charm. That's what it's captured the imaginations and the big fandom. It's not as big as Frozen or even Cinderella and other things like that, old and new. But it is. Amy Adams is fantastic in it. She sings beautifully. James Marsden. It's one of the. He's always been this kind of really hunky, serious leading man kind of guy, but he is hilarious. I've seen him. I can't remember what the other film is, but he's just look up what he's done, and he's done Westworld recently. Not a very funny show, but when he gets to do comedy, he's fantastic, and I like seeing him do that. He was Cyclops in the original X-Men films, so yeah. I got to meet him a couple years ago, and I asked him. I told him, I said, really, it would be nice if you would become not dead and be in future X-Men films. He's like, I would like that too, and he did show up in a few in the later generation movies, just in small parts. But either way, it's yeah, he's a good guy. Patrick Dempsey is really good. And Susan Sarandon animated as an old hag, or live action as an old hag, or as the devious queen, animated or live action. She's fantastic in this. Also, she's a perfect choice. The great thing about this is I can't tell beyond her eyes. When they really make her up in live action to be the old hag, the trope of giving the apple to poison the princess, I can't recognize her. I wouldn't. If somebody would have told me that was Susan Sarandon, I wouldn't have noted that. So makeup team great. The effects team is really good. It's the effects kind of hold up. I'm surprised. For 15 years, a lot of stuff really doesn't hold up as so well these days. It holds up a little bit more outdoors, dark night moments with a dragon. Let's just say, yeah, this steals liberally from lots of classic Disney. And it's understandable that they didn't use one of the existing Disney princesses in here because it kind of would limit it. It would limit it to its original story, and because of its ending, it would kind of undo the happy ending of any of the previous films. So whether it's Snow White or Cinderella or just anything else. So, and also doing Little Mermaid would be kind of difficult, but they're doing that. So. But not in this way. So this is kind of it's a movie about growing. It's about seeing things from a different light. He learns that he can have joy again. He can have romance. He can have happiness, happily ever after. And she understands that she can be more than what is expected of the type of how she's drawn. To borrow something from Jessica Rabbit, she's not just a two-dimensional character, and she's something that she can feel angry, and that's okay. She can feel things, and she's not the sum of just her passions, her unmotivated, for the most part, passions. She can have some depth, and other than being kind and joyful and helpful and everything else, but I think it's her innocence and her kindness that really brings something out in Patrick Dempsey's character that helps both him grow and her grow when she's faced with things that she's not expecting anybody to ever experience, like divorce or the loss of a loved one. So And of course, the person who brings us all together is a little girl who believes in princesses. So, hey, you know what? That makes sense. She's the one who is the first one to give Giselle a chance. So, that's all I got to say about that one. Of course, probably in a few hours. I really started this one later than I planned to today. Uh, but hey, it's going to be just a little bit of downtime, and I'll be back at it again, probably a little bit after midnight, to watch the sequel, Disenchanted, with the same cast for the most part, I think, and Maya Rudolph appears in this as well. And yeah, it's something that a lot of people, a lot of fans have been waiting for a long time. So, Disenchanted, a brand new Disney Plus original premiere tomorrow on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.